All right, so this video kind of talks about the hardware behind my Christmas light display. These are all the things that I purchased to make my Cosmic Color Ribbon 12-strand LED strip tree, and I'm going to kind of walk you through and how expensive it all is, um, and then go through it. So, actually, let's go to holidaycoro.com. This is basically where I've done all my research and did all my homework about all these things. So, first thing I purchased was a 16 output E131 controller. This one is for pixels. So there's two different kinds of controllers out there. There's dumb controllers and smart controllers or pixel controllers. So you need a pixel controller to do the tree that I built. Again, I actually bought it from eBay, but you can buy it here for $330. Um, and yeah, that's kind of the big purchase here. Um, so buying the controller. So again, what happens is, if you can zoom in on the picture there, on the controller there's an Ethernet port, or what they call E131, and that's what we send the signal through. We send it through an Ethernet cable to this controller, and the controller takes care of the rest. The way that we send, so what's the other end of that, is a Raspberry Pi. So I actually purchased this kit here. So Virus Raspberry Pi 3 Basic Starter Kit. In my research, as I was looking at videos, a lot of people say, oh, you can use the Raspberry Pi 2. I just chose Raspberry Pi 3 because I know it has a little bit better processor power and some more RAM. So 1.2 gigahertz, 1 gig RAM. And I didn't want to experience lag. Some people were saying, oh, there was like a lag between the music and the lights. And so I didn't want the computer to stand in the way of that. People say, oh, do you need that plastic case? What's the big deal? Um, they say bring a case because obviously it's a circuit board, so getting dust in there or moisture will do good. So yeah, trying to protect it as best you can is good. Um, so yeah, this is the brains behind the operation again with the. Uh, it's powered by mini USB or micro USB, excuse me. 5 volts, at least 2 amps is what you want that there, and I believe that's what this case comes with. Oh, 2.5. Okay. These are heat sinks, those little like grate looking things. Because the Raspberry Pi actually does get warm, and there's instructions in the case here that tell you where to place those heat sinks. So yeah, that's the Raspberry Pi. So the signal, so we create the sequences, and then uh, we save it all here on the Raspberry Pi, and the Raspberry Pi sends it to the controller. All right. And then obviously the next big purchase we need to make is the LED strips. So I went to eBay to do this. There's a lot of different places you could go, obviously. There's a whole bunch of LED strips out there. Here's what was critical when I was purchasing. And actually, I had an email conversation with the guy from Holiday Core, David. We were emailing back and forth talking about which LED strips to buy. Because obviously, a lot of people say, well, longer is better, and the more pixels, the better. And this will actually kind of give us a good breakdown here. So there are different kinds. So there's 30 LEDs per meter, 40 per meter, and 160 per meter. Oh, excuse me, 60 per meter. And a lot of people are like, oh, 60 must be better. Just remember, the more LEDs you have, the more energy it draws. And the only thing you have to consider is the power supply that's in your controller. So that silver box right here, the one I purchased, it says right here actually, it is a, where is it on this list? Power supply, power supply. I'm sure you found it faster than I did. Where is it? So the power supply, I believe it's 360 watts is what it handles. So it's doing 12 volts at 30 amps, which produces 360 watts of power. And these LED strips, when you plug them into the controller, the best thing to do is to do it at 30. And now again, well, what if I do it to 40? What if I do it at 60? You would have to buy a different power supply than the one provided here, because this one, if all 12 strips are on at full white, it would again. There's only 12 strips happening, so each strip usually takes about. I think they said about 30 watts of power. So 12 times 30 would be 360 watts. So anyway, uh, you don't want to say, oh, more LEDs is better. 30 is just fine for the tree that you buy. So 30 LEDs per meter. PCB. So you'll notice here in the picture that there's, see how the LEDs, like they're those white squares, and then you see that black chip, if I can. So you see the white square and then the black square. The black square is actually the chip. The white square is the LED light. And the white, so they're on that like white, that's the PCB, or the, I don't know what PCB stands for, but anyway, it's this, the white color there, and then there's black PCB, which is right there. There's really no difference. I went with white. I mean, you could have gone with black. It really doesn't matter. So there's that. The PCB is just like what the circuitry sits on. So white and black. Waterproof. If it's outdoors, go waterproof. There's two different kinds. So tube waterproof or IP65. I just went IP65, and that's just fine there. And then length 5 meters. You want it to be 5 meters, and that will be 16.4 feet tall. So as you can see, it's priced at $12.88 for 5 meters, which is really good. So we'll say it's 13, just to round up. And then you need 12 of them, so 13 times 12 would be $156 if you went that way, which is actually a really good price. So that's for the LED strips. A lot of people online, as I was doing my research, go to AliExpress, which is a store. Again, it's kind of like Etsy, but for more technical people. And Ray Wu, this is his online profile store. A lot of people go to him. As you can see, he sells a lot of stuff. And obviously right there, he sells LED strips. So the one you would buy from him would be these right here. The 12 volt, 5 meter, 30 LEDs per meter. So 240 per meter, so 240 times 5 would give you $12. So it's actually a little cheaper to go through him. Again, I maybe should have trusted him, I don't know, but I just went on eBay. But this is another great resource here, aliexpress.com, and then you just search for Ray Wu, and he sells LED things here too. All right, and then other than that, I just went to Home Depot. I forgot to type in that link, so let me just do that. So Home Depot top rail fence. See if I can pull up a price here. That's the one. So 1 3/8 inch, 10 foot, 6 inch, 17 gauge galvanized pipe. Yep, that's about right. And here's what's important about this pipe. So you'll notice that at the bottom it's rounded, but towards the top it's kind of narrowed. And so that's really important for the piece that I purchased to make this happen. So it's only 10 feet 6 inches. And if your tree is going to be 16 feet tall, you had to buy 2, and I had a hacksaw and had to saw it in half. And of course I have a sleeve that kind of pieced them together there. So yep, so you need 2 of those. So 12, it's worth $24. Then back to holiday coral. The last thing I purchased, let's see, the Quick Tree Pixel Mounting Tree System. There's 3 different sizes of these. So there's QT1, QT2, and QT3. So you have to select which one it is. So yeah, QT2 is what I bought. So it's for 12, 16, 24, 32 strips. So you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of strips there. For my 12 strips, I just used the outside ring going back and forth. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it only goes about 120 degrees around. And that's $30 for that. And see, notice what it says right here. It is for 1 3/8 inch top bench rail center pole. And that's what we bought from Home Depot right here. So that's what the strips feed through to kind of like string up on top. And then at the bottom, I just zip tie them. And the one thing I bought for the zip ties, if I come back here, you'll notice, so these strain reliefs. So you'll notice how they have a spike going through it. If you go outdoors, you can hammer them straight into the ground, just like this picture shows right here. But I don't have any grass in my front yard, so I had to make my own kind of anchoring system kind of built my own frame and bottom, and so I zip tied. So if I come back to this picture, you'll notice that there are two little holes here at the bottom, and I got some screw eyes that just went into the wood, and I zip tied those together to put those on. So again, there's 8 come, so it's 40 cents per clip. I ended up buying 16 of them because you never know if something broke or not. So it's 40 cents per, not too bad. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I bought to make this happen. Oh yes, the other thing at Home Depot I bought was a tote. And by tote I mean like a plastic box that's about maybe 4 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet. Let's see if I can find it. Outdoor tote. Let's see what comes up here. I think that's what it's called. Something like this. It's 50-gallon outdoor storage bin. I bought the Home Depot brand, so this one says 52 bucks. Mine ended up being, I think, like $15 or $20 at the most. But something like this. So just because rather than having just the controller sitting out in the open, I put the controller, that gray box, inside of this, just to give it an extra layer of protection. Not that you need it, but it just made me feel better to put it there. So that's all the items I purchased. So let's go ahead and do some math here. So the controller, let's go back here. RGB packages. Again, we bought this. That was $330 plus $50 for this. So that makes it $380. Again, if we bought 12 of these from here, that makes it $156. So we're about at $550, I think, right there. And then we had to buy the rail posts, so $550 plus $12 each make it, I'm doing my math, $570. And then if we add in the extra pieces from Holiday Coro,